it is now cheaper for Japanese companies to import cars into the US than it is for American companies to import cars from Mexico and Canada. So the tariff deal is 25% on all automotive in the whole automotive industry. Any car that comes into the US is 25% tariff. But Japan just struck a deal with Donald Trump that says they get a 15% tariff. So their tariff went down from 25% to 15%. So it is now cheaper for Toyota, Honda, Nissan, and those companies to bring a car from Japan into the US, which is crazy. The lobby and group for the big three in the US is not happy about this. They are already coming out and saying this is hurting American brands and helping the Japanese economy and helping the Japanese brands at the expense of American car companies that actually bring money into the US. I mean, the money that Japan makes on these cars goes back to the Japanese economy, not really into the US economy. So people are rightfully mad. There's a side part of that deal where Japan has lowered their restrictions on American cars to basically say if it fits American EPA and environmental standards and crash standards, you can sell it in Japan. So we can now export our cars to Japan that historically they weren't buying. They buy 1% of Japanese new cars every year are American. That is basically none. It's 45,000 cars a year because they buy about 5 million, 4.5 million new cars every year, and it's basically nothing. If that goes up to 2%, that's still pretty low. I don't know how many American cars Japan's really trying to buy. Are we going to see, dually F-250s suddenly running around Japan? Probably not. Are we going to see a couple Mustangs maybe and some Corvettes? Maybe. But that's kind of small potatoes in a way. It's not really a big chunk of, what the US is really looking for. I think GM would rather the tariff go down than be able to sell some Corvettes in Japan. But what do I know? I'm not a GM executive. What do you guys think? Is this good for Americans or is this just bad for the US auto industry in a whole?